and we will shut it off when we go into non-public. We are going to call this meeting to order at 7:05. And first on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we do not have any appointments. Our old business, December's action items. I'm going to just go back to our minutes from December to double check as we go through those. I don't think there were a lot.
No.
Okay. Arrange dates to meet with Ann Warner. I did send out an email to people, but I did not hear from everybody about the dates that you were available to meet with her. So, so I'm going to just look at the people who have submitted dates to me. I'll come up with a couple of options and send them out. I think mostly it's that people would prefer to meet during the week, so I will also check with Yvette and see what her schedule is like. Obtain the request for proposal from SMP. I did have that, and I forwarded that to you, the proposal for the fundraising, what's the word I'm looking for? The fundraising coordinator? I don't think that's quite the word I'm looking for. Fundraising consultant, perhaps. So I did send that request for proposal to you. Janet, obtain and discuss fine-free data to determine length of pilot. I know that Janet had sent Yvette some questions she had, and Yvette forwarded those to us. And then discuss chiller heating financing. So Janet was going to, do you want to speak to that, or can I?
Yeah.
Okay, so Janet was going to look at where we could pull money from our current budget to pay for the chiller. And in doing that, we noticed some things that we just had questions about. Because of the way that money works as far as things being encumbered, I think that might be where some of the questions came from, because what we budgeted in our line items might be different because of the way that encumbered funds rolled into those line items from last year. So I actually was going to propose that the Finance Committee, Janet and I, meet with Yvette and Joanne Marston at the library and kind of look at things, the places where we think that there are extra funds, just to verify that we're all on the same page. There aren't any POs for those, that those funds are available, because I would hate to see us commit to purchasing the chiller and then find out, oh, actually those funds were going in a different direction. So I just think it's a good time to kind of take a step back, look at it, and then have a plan going forward. So, so Janet was starting to look at that, and then when we had some other questions about things, it seemed like a good time to roll it back. So I think we're going to try to meet next week. Joanne will be available, and and of course we will inform you guys about everything that we discuss. But it's better, I think, in this instance, to meet as a smaller committee at the library where there's access to the files, there's access to the computer. So if we have questions, things can be looked up more easily, and then we can maybe come forward at the next meeting with a proposal for, this is the money that is available, and here's how we can apply it to the purchase of a chiller and or the entire HVAC system, depending on what we find. So that was a lot. Does that make sense? What my rationale was for that?
No.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
no, okay. Oh, see, now I have to understand your sarcasm. Okay, so those were the action items as far as the library trustees were concerned. Was there anything I missed in there? Okay, so we're in, yes? Did you miss? Okay, okay. I couldn't tell. So then going in through old business, SMP, we addressed that I sent the proposal. The copier is a filler right there, just a placeholder. Strategic plan, we do need to move forward with that. I saw that Yvette, you shared the organizational profile document. So we will just need to set up a date and invite Ann Warner to join us so we can move forward. And then the chiller, hopefully we'll have a proposal for where we can find funds and make it with confidence to the board at the next meeting and move forward on the chiller as well. So I think that was all the old business. Yes? Okay. New business, policy review. I know we have collection development. Yes? collection development policy. Did everybody receive a copy of that from Yvette? Were there any concerns or questions?
I didn't.
Okay. No? Okay. All right, well, I will make a motion that we approve the collection development policy.
I second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? 400. Okay, moving right along. Fine-free forgiveness.
Oh, wait,
Oh.
no. There's no policy.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's another one? Okay, my mistake.
For programming.
Programming, okay. Sorry, I have to pull that up for me. I don't have that one right in front of me.
Do you want mine?
Sure, thank you.
I didn't have any problems with this one either. There weren't any changes and looked good before.
Yeah, I mean, these are mostly to review, because you regularly review our policies, but also so that you have them kind of in the forefront of your mind, because there are a lot of challenges going on in library land, so just so you know, we have these.
Okay,
I make a motion to accept the programming policy as is.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? 400. Okay, sorry about that. Now the fine-free forgiveness pilot, correct? Okay, fine-free forgiveness pilot. We have been fine-free for quite a while now. Janet asked for some information, which you would have received in your chart. And there was a bunch of other information too that Yvette sent to us. So, thoughts, comments, further questions on the fine-free policy? We did say we would look at this information and then make a decision today about how to proceed.
From the information, I actually only had one question, and it was actually more about how replacements, so, I know you touched on it, I just wanted to hear it.
Okay.
You get two auto renewals, and then the book isn't back, start there.
Right.
So what happens after that?
So when the book doesn't come back, we're gonna mark it as lost.
And how soon does that happen?
I am not sure if it's immediately or if there's a grace, like a one-day
Sure.
grace. I couldn't get with Alyssa, but it's either immediately on that first day or the second day.
The second, right.
Yeah. And notices go out, and that's dependent on how you receive notices from us.
Okay.
You know, I know we're still mailing those kind of notices, so it's probably gonna be a letter in the mail saying, I've gotten them when my stuff's overdue, so I know it. But, it's like, hi, you owe $26 to replace this book, or return it. It's like, oh, there's my reminder, I have to return it, and then, and then we return it. And then that charge would get removed from the card.
And just like now where there is a fine, like if I have $5 in overdue fines, is there going to be like, once you have a lost item, privileges are revoked or not revoked, I should say, but like you can't access things, or how does that?
Your account is frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, in my experience.
So would that be like, I can't use
when-
Overdrive or anything either? Asking for a friend. No, so like.
I know when I can't check a book out,
Mhm.
like, I can't do a self-check. That's usually where I am,
Mhm.
because it says you need to go talk to the staff.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know, there's something with your account. And I believe that as far as I understand, you know, your account is locked out from accessing anything online as well.
Okay.
And we can double check that. So that's kind of the signal for people. Oh, I better go down to the library, better call the library.
Because I actually think that, most people want to return their things. They've just forgotten, it's gone to the wayside, that sort of thing. So we just needed some sort of trigger that, like, it's not
Absolutely.
just like a perpetual, you get to keep it. So,
No, and when I looked at the studies that I was sharing with you guys, that's the trigger. It's the overdue letter that now now you're being charged for this item. So,
Okay.
go ahead.
If they keep it for so long that they basically have to pay for the whole thing, can they return it still?
Yeah.
And they won't be charged?
No.
Oh, okay.
unless it's damaged, that's a different story. But if it's in the condition it was checked out in, then it's just returned late, and we wouldn't be charging the late fees.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have any questions except my initial concern was simply the financial stability of the library because of the changing income and assorted charges. And as long as, I've only heard good things about this program, so I'm all for it.
Well, I thought it was fascinating that we have the same situations going on as all the studies, where we're finding our circulation kind of went up, and that's going to be very interesting to track, and that the cost to recover fines is, outweighs, the staff time outweighs the cost to recover fines, I think. I thought that was fascinating. So,
Okay. I'm looking at
I
you,
know.
Janet, because you were the one with
I
the
know.
most questions, so.
I'm gonna just tell you where I went with this. So I had sent a chart to Yvette to fill out, which she sent to us. It's the Jobin Fines chart for trustees.
Oh, yes.
This was the information that I was interested in. Specifically, from the articles that Erifa had sent us and the articles that Yvette has sent us through the last couple months. And I keep thinking about some slideshow I looked at, but it basically said, if you're uncomfortable, do it in steps. So they were like, do do auto renewal or extend your renewal, which we did.
Yep.
But at the same time, we were waiving the fines. So I didn't have data to support how things were going. But the biggest thing that they highlighted was the children's. Like, remove it from the children's. They can't be responsible. It's really falls on the parents. You're hurting the kids, blah, blah, blah. So what I was interested in was the children's materials, because basically in my head, I already had been thinking, I'm willing to give up children's. And because of that, I felt teens fell in that as well. Doing the math, if you take out teens and children's, it's like less than 50% we get back. So then in a normal year, it essentially, I essentially just was like, that's not worth it.
No.
It wasn't worth, to me, collecting the fines from the adults and Library of Things and everything else.
What it cost, yeah.
Exactly, it just wasn't worth it. So that was my rationale. So, because I was, from all the articles, I was willing to concede the children's, but then in the end, with the adult portion
Yeah.
and the miscellaneous other stuff, just doesn't make up enough of it to make a difference to me. So,
Okay.
so that's where I went.
Would you like to make a motion?
Sure. So, I make a motion to suspend all fines, to just get rid of fines. Make a motion to get rid of fines.
I read in one of those attachments that someone suggested keeping the Library of Things.
Right, because it was more expensive, or there's something about Jen Stover.
Yeah.
Just a demand.
Right, and that makes sense, though.
Oh, what's your opinion?
My opinion was to wipe all of them, because that's what Alyssa also was saying, when you look at things, but
Can
I didn't have a chance to talk to Jen.
Mhm. It's been my experience that whenever something new is introduced to libraries, we increase the fines on it as though that particular thing is more precious than anything else. For instance, when audiobooks we're in, oh, we have to charge more. Oh, wait, now we're going to make those the normal same, but now we have DVDs, so they're going to be $1 a day. So I feel like this is like just a sort of the history of the way things have gone is when there is a new media or something introduced, the fine is usually bigger than everything else. So I wonder if that's sort of that feeling of like, this is different from everything else. That's why
Maybe
there is a.
Because
fine.
Alyssa said they come back. So they're not late. So
Alright.
Mhm.
I don't see why you would put a fine on it, but I think you're right, because that's been my experience too,
Mhm.
where,
When something is new, it's like, oh, this is
Right.
new, and no one's going to know how to take care of this, and where it's going to be if you're really, particular about this. And then it's kind of like, why are we charging $1 for a DVD? Like, it just kind
Right.
of, DVDs are actually cheaper than a lot of books, and they're
Yeah.
being charged more. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird,
Second.
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Is there any further discussion about it?
Just to abolish fines, but specify maybe that, I am just not thinking clearly today. To specify that book replacements are not included. It seems like that's been said
Mm-hmm.
when we've been talking about this, that it's simply fines
fines.
for late returns,
Mm-hmm.
not for damages or
Loss.
non-returns.
So perhaps the motion should be to abolish overdue fines,
Okay.
or late fees, or something.
Fines for,
Fines for overdue materials.
yeah. And Mike seconds.
Okay. All in favor? 400.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
When would you like this to go into effect?
Just want to know
We're,
what the date
we're
was.
open for another hour.
Well, we are still fine-free right now, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just-
so
So-
it's not reinstating them.
Yeah.
Okay.
This just is. And I think
Okay.
that also, this is what we're doing, and we move forward, and everything is a vote of the board. So if a future board 10 years from now says, why would they have done that? Who knows what will happen.
Yes.
So, okay,
Okay,
great.
thank you.
And I think that, I appreciate the thoughtfulness that went into this decision. I think there were some of us who were just like, yep, that sounds like a great idea. But I think it is good to look at the numbers and to understand and to sort of understand the implications that really, if we were to get rid of it, this is how much money the trustees would be not taking in,
Yeah.
and how that was going to
Yeah.
play out. So it's good. Okay, December general ledger.
I didn't have anything.
Okay. December invoice manifest and open POs. I know that there was some recommendation from Joanne about moving some money for the open POs, but I think that's part of what we should just take a look at when we meet next week. Nothing is so pressing that it has to be moved right before the
Yep.
trustees meet again. So we're going to look, when the finance committee meets next week, we will look at the open POs,
Mhm.
how they line up with the budget, what is still available, and that sort of thing. Because it might be a matter of also that we have to do some shifting with different POs to find the money for the chiller. So, I think if we can look at it comprehensively, that will be what we do. Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else under new business? All right, moving forward to the director's report.
Okay. All right. We received a donation from Home Depot of the following items: 6 64-ounce jugs of liquid hand sanitizer refills, 200 100-count canisters of disposable hand sanitizing wipes.
Was it 20 or 200? 100?
20?
20, okay.
100.
20, 100, okay.
I don't know what I said. 10 spray bottles of disinfectant cleaner. And since it's a donation, you would need to vote to accept this.
Sure. I make a motion that we accept the donation from Home Depot of the liquid hand sanitizer refills, canisters of disposable hand sanitizing wipes, and spray bottles of disinfectant cleaner.
I'll
Karen seconds. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? 400. Thank you very much to Home Depot. That's wonderful.
Okay. I don't know if you have any particular questions about anything in my report or.
I just want to, I see in the director's action items,
Yep.
work with Deb and Janet regarding recognizing Barry Quimby, and would like to ask that maybe at the finance committee, we look at that also when we meet next week, so that we can make sure that gets taken care of. So I would put that on an action item, just to keep that at the front of our agenda, because we do want to make sure that we recognize Barry Quimby per the trust request. So.
Where was that you were pointing?
It's on the director's action items. It's the third thing down. Yvette, on her director's report, was going to work with Janet and I about the Barry Quimby Trust. Part of the trust is that we acknowledge Barry and, write something up. So I want to make sure that that gets
Oh,
done.
okay.
So, was there anything else on Yvette's director's report that people had questions about? I actually am curious about the leaf vacuum
Yeah, I-
situation, and
Yep.
was wondering if there's like a solution. Can we lock things up? I saw that you said you're going to put
Yeah.
something in there, but yeah.
I told them I wanted it locked up.
Okay.
So it wasn't marked MPL and it wasn't locked and,
Okay.
so,
Was it found? Was-
found?
Yeah.
No.
I was gonna say, I didn't think so.
Okay.
Bummer.
Maybe we should get some of those air tags.
What's that?
The little piece of plastic you put on and you can track it on your phone.
Whose phone?
Yours.
Of course mine. It's not a bad idea.
Oh, okay.
I'll let them figure out the best way to do things, but yeah.
I just think it's interesting that someone picked it up. I don't think it was a mistake. Like, if I was driving through the library parking lot and saw a piece of lawn equipment, I wouldn't be like, oh, clearly this is free, like
Oh, it's trash.
Exactly.
Yay.
Yeah, interesting. So, okay. So we'll move on. We'll just, so as long as things will be secured, so going
Yes,
forward. Okay,
yes.
great. That was really all I had, was a question about that, so. Okay.
No, I
Okay.
think all the PO things we'll sort out next week.
Mhm.
And then anything on the maintenance
No.
list?
I do want to make sure, I think that we need to have a vote, because there was some money that was put forth for filters, for a repair, for the air filter. Okay, so do you
Oh,
have
yes.
that for you?
I probably don't.
Okay, I can find the email. So we bought air filtration systems, or what would I call them, air filtration units with COVID to help purify the air. But it turns out that some of them required filter replacements to be done. So that needed to be purchased, but the trustees need to authorize that because we had to move some funds. So, correct?
Right, and we had installed those a year ago, this
Mhm.
January, because we purchased them right in December, and so now they're coming due, and we hadn't anticipated that when we made budget, so.
Yeah, so let me see if I can find that amount so we can have a vote, so we have it on record. And I think it's,
In the director's report, it
Yeah.
says
Oh.
3,170.
Yeah.
thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Second page, near the second
Second bullet.
bullet. Yeah, that's the word.
Okay, so I'm not seeing that on,
Okay, I've under maintenance, and it's the 5th bullet.
Oh,
Yep, see it right
You're
there.
right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we need then to move, let's see. So where was that $3,170 taken from and moved to maintenance?
I'm sure it's personnel.
Okay. Does that sound right to you?
It could be.
Okay. So we just want to make a motion that $3,170 is moved to 158202 maintenance janitorial supplies for the purchase of light cells and filters for each unit.
That's a lot for filters.
There are 9. And they're top quality.
I'm glad it's not in my house.
And what's the
They're
light?
They're expensive.
Yeah, and the light, what's a light cell? Is that like what purifies it as it goes through, or?
You know, I don't know.
Okay, but it's required, and we want to
Oh,
keep,
yeah.
and I think that, we made a commitment to purchasing these, so we need to keep up with it. And I did ask as part of this that, the staff look ahead and see what other types of things like this are coming up, so we can like forecast those and be prepared. So, so anyways, I will make that motion that $3,170 be moved to 158202 maintenance and janitorial supplies for
You
the
said
purchase.
33,000.
I'm sorry?
You said 33,000.
I'm sorry, $3,170, 3170, for the changing out of the lights, for the light cells and filters for each unit. Okay, is there a second?
Karen.
Karen,
I'll second it.
thanks. Is there any further discussion?
Somewhere I saw where money was gonna be moved around, and
Same paragraph.
same paragraph.
Well, this is one
Okay.
thing that we want to address. Some of the other things that came up, we're going to look at in finance as part of the bigger picture for money. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? 3-0.
Abstain.
Okay. And one abstention.
0-1.
Do you have concerns that you'd like to express?
It just doesn't seem right.
Like in what
Seems
way?
like a lot per air filter. I might be thinking of a different air machine,
Mhm.
but it just seems like a lot for filters. I'd try spraying it with a hose first, personally.
I don't think that's quite the same.
Well, you can come and I'll give you a tour of the filters and the units, but I won't let you near water.
Is that
When I-
machine in the children's room?
There's one in the children's room. It looks like a
Looks like a computer tower.
tower. That's one of them, yeah.
And you only have to replace them once a year?
Yes.
Because I have one running in one part of our house, and I'm putting new filters in like all the time. So, and I
Ours
mean,
are better.
but no, I agree. Yours are better, and you also have all the
They're
traffic of all
running
those people going
24/7.
through. So yes, I
Yeah,
think that.
we
So
don't
I
turn
guess
them
I was
off
trying
at
to say
night.
I'm not surprised because I replace ours regularly. I don't hose it down. So I think, yeah. So, but I think take Yvette up on her offer and see what it's like. See what they are like. So,
Yep.
the more we know, the better. Okay. All right.
Just one more thing that might make sense to have you talk about during the director's report is the Silver Knights
Oh,
Museum Pass, renewing that. Alyssa had made a recommendation to go with package 3.
package 3?
Yes, which
Okay.
is $680
Yeah.
for 4 reserved box season tickets. And then there's the 4 that are donated by the Silver Knights.
What are people's thoughts, questions?
Well, I was looking it over, and I didn't print it, so I just have to find it. And it looked pretty good. I was just looking at the different, some of those packages are so big, I don't think that the library would need that many, but, I think maybe package 3 was the one I was thinking, I don't remember, it was 60 or something, I don't remember. I have to find it.
680.
Okay, so Janet, did you want to say something?
Yes, I do like this pass, but looking at the data that Alyssa provided, I guess going forward, I'd like to know about maybe removing some of the passes that are not being used, or what criteria might be used to decide, even if it's been used once, is that worth it? So, that's, yes, Mike?
Do we have the data on the passes before the pandemic?
No.
Could
At
we
least
get
I
that
don't.
data?
Not right now. I mean, yeah, you don't have it now, but we have it.
Yeah, I think that,
Because I think they might have been used, but right now, I wouldn't go to a stadium, so.
Well, this is summer.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
passes
So-
during the summer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the summer, I still wouldn't go during a pandemic. I mean, it's been pretty rough. Maybe people will start using the passes again starting this summer as things ease up. So,
yeah,
I support it.
I think that I think also support it, but I don't think it's ever a bad idea to take a step back and say, like, what's really getting used, what's not getting used, what's the best use of our money, you know? So I think that that's something. When do things usually come up for renewal?
It depends on the pass.
Okay.
They're all different, but
Yeah.
we have deleted American Independence Museum in Exeter was one that I
Mhm.
remember we deleted the most recently.
Yep.
And it was because of the distance between here and Exeter. You know,
Mhm.
something like the aquarium. That's gonna get a lot of use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
So-
and not saying that when you look at it that there will be recommendations to get rid of things,
Sure.
but I think if there's if you ask the staff to look at it through the lens of, like, you know what, we don't want to just keep adding on because we've had it,
Mhm.
keep it, right? We always want to be evaluating it just like we would evaluate our regular collection. So, like,
Yep.
with a mind to, you know what, 2 people use this and we're spending X amount of money, that doesn't seem like the best use of our resources, and, you know, I think that that's reasonable.
Yeah.
So.
Was it 11 people that used it?
For what?
The passes?
Which one? This?
The Silver Knights?
Oh, no, there's 23.
Oh,
23 used it.
I must be remembering it differently.
So 23 used it for our last year, which ended up being,
Yeah, so I found package 3 is 4 reserved box season tickets. Which are all for specific games, so that sounds reasonable. As in, I know, especially over, you know, as the weather gets warmer, people get more enthusiastic about the Silver Knights. I know a lot of people go to those games.
So how does this work? They take up to 4 tickets, and then it comes back to us, and then another?
You get it, so it's, like, I used the library's pass for the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. I just went and got the pass, went to the museum. They I actually had to do something online because of the pandemic, because they were, like, doing entry times, but then that's it. You go to you get, like, tickets for a lot of them, and you don't have to bring them back to the library. Your ticket is your pass for the day. And sometimes you have to pay something still for some of them, like, I think
Yeah.
the Museum of Science, you have to
Yes,
pay
definitely.
something on top of it, but it's a very much discounted
Well,
rate.
I
so-
mean, like, if there's 4 passes,
No, I think you just get your tickets for that day, and then you walk, like, that's it. Right? They don't,
I don't know, what are you asking?
Alright, so if there's 4 season passes, that means up to 4 people can check it out at a time, right?
No, I think it's 4 seats
There's
for
4
each.
seats,
Oh,
so
I
you
heard
could take
season.
1, and I could take 2, and you could take 1. It
Right.
doesn't have to be a group of people that know each other.
And then that's it. We take our ticket and go?
There's actually 8.
Yeah,
Actually,
there's 8. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ones you're
they
paying for are
doubled
the
it.
4, but
Yeah.
then Silver Knights is donating another 4, so we
Mhm.
have 8 possible for the game.
Oh, okay. And
And
that's the
the other-
max per game.
Yeah.
That's the max per game,
Okay.
and also a feature that we haven't utilized yet is we can have, a table at the game and do promotional things and just say, hey, we're the library,
Mm-hmm.
or we're the
Oh.
friends of the library, or whatever, and, we
That'd be
haven't done
great
it.
Yeah.
for the new library.
Haven't done it yet, but it's an option that
Mm-hmm.
we can do it.
Okay.
Well, we haven't had those passes for too long.
No.
That was last year.
Wa-
Because,
Was it last year
Yeah,
or was
because-
it 19?
no,
or
because
was
we
it
were
20?
going to get them in 2020,
Right.
but then the pandemic hit and even the Silver Knights said, just hold off, we'll
Yeah.
keep, like, just remember us and we'll remember you.
Okay.
And we got it in 2021.
Right.
So we've only had it a year,
Yeah.
so.
And once the word gets out, it will, I just know a lot of people that will mention it in passing, so.
Great. So are we thinking the package that Alyssa recommended for $680, I believe it was?
Mhm.
Which is an increase. It's an increase of $120.
Well, the good news is it's for 1 year. We can always take a look at it. If we don't feel like it's getting used, if people are, starting to come out more, maybe we see there's more, but if it's still sort of leveled the same, maybe we say next year we don't need quite that many and we can rein it
Yeah.
in a little bit, so. Okay, so I will make a motion that we purchase package 3 for $680 from the Nashua Silver Knights Baseball Club.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? 400. Great. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Yvette. Was there anything else?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay.
What about the computers? I saw there was a proposal for computers.
Oh, yeah, the three additional.
Yeah, so the part of the concern is that computers, chiller. Is there enough money to do both of them? And there might very well be, but without taking a look back, taking a look at everything, it's kind of hard to say for sure, because when you start pulling money from lines and then other money is sort of being earmarked, even if not encumbered. So I think that's part of what we wanted to look at as a finance committee is like, okay, here are the things, here are the priorities, here's what we need to get done. We know that the chiller it has to be taken care of, right? So if we find the money for that, and there very well could be money left over for the computers, but I think to bring a vote right now would be premature, and we could put ourselves in a situation where we don't have the funds that we need for something that structurally the building is gonna need, so. Karen?
But, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here and this would come up later, but we've already committed to the railings, which is
Mm-hmm.
the other item that
Yep.
we
Yep.
really
Yep.
do have to do.
Right.
Yep.
So that
And that
PO's.
also is gonna be part of your discussion, is
Well,
that the
because there was
idea?
some concern that some of the POs that were asked to be encumbered last year did not get taken care of, and there were a couple like Canopy, and that fell off the radar. So we want to make sure the funding is there to do those things, So I think it's more like there's a lot of different parts, but we will come to the next meeting with everything for you.
Okay.
We were able to find this much money here. Yes, we can do this. No, we can't do that, and just present you with the information for you to make a decision that's well informed. So.
Good.
Yes, we'd like to do everything, but we have to prioritize, unfortunately. So, and like I said, very well could be like, oh yes, because of personnel or some other things, we have it all. But, I'd hate to see us vote on the computers, decide to do that, and then say, but that's cutting us short in something that we really need to take care of right away. So, okay. Treasurer's report.
Okay. This is for the month of December. The beginning balance for fines was $9,220.56. And the ending balance is $6,919.59. And then, actually, since we are talking about money, one of the things that, of note, there is $51,365.33 in the savings account for fines. And then in the savings account for special is $20,587.15. And then our special checking, the starting balance is $35,462.70. And it ends with $37,392.53.
Any questions for Janet on the treasurer's report?
Are you gonna, were those the special amounts for December?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, could you, that's all right, I have them in my notes, so
I can tell.
if you wanna say them again.
So special started with $35,462.70, and it ended with $37,392.53.
Thank you. We're good.
Okay. Thank you, Janet. Is there anything else that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we are moving right along. So on to the acceptance of minutes. So Karen
Oh.
sent us a whole bunch of minutes.
Yeah, well, that's because of the budget
Yep.
meetings and so on.
So let's go back. Let me grab my minutes. I have the ones from last month. And then we also have, I think, 2 or 3 from November. We have November 8th, November 16th, November 23rd, and December 21st, it looks like. So let's start with November 8th, which was a budget meeting.
Yep.
Any comments?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The people who were present, Laura is not on the board.
Oh, for heaven's sakes,
So that would be Mike instead,
it certainly
And
would.
Sohini.
and Sohini, yep.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Okay, with those changes made, I will make a motion that we approve the November 8th meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? 400, thank you. We have November 16th, our regular meeting. Any comments, corrections, or questions? Okay, I will make a motion that we accept the November 16th meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
I wasn't there. So
Oh,
I'll
three,
abstain.
301. And then we have our public meeting and budget meeting on November 23rd, where Mr. Boland was our guest.
There was actually a non-public for,
There's a non-public on
Oh,
November 16th.
sorry, okay, no, non-public on November 16th. Let me pull that one up. I think but as I'm going through printing things, I'm missing stuff, so my apologies. So November 16th. Let me pull that up for myself. Any comments? Any questions? Any changes? No? Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the November 16th non-public meeting minutes. Is there a second?
That was me.
Karen will second again. Okay. All in favor? 3-0, and abstaining 1. Okay.
Abstain, yeah.
Abstain.
Okay. And November 23rd. Let's see. Again, Mr. Boland was our gift.
Was I there?
Our guest, Mr. Boland, Tom Boland, Merrimack Town Finance Director. I just turned the page where we had talked about the staff gifts as well, so that's why. Okay, so any corrections, changes, or questions to the minutes for November 23rd?
Make
Okay.
a motion to accept the minutes for November 23rd.
Thank you. I'll second that.
Was I there?
Yeah?
You were.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, we're. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Everybody was there.
Okay, all in favor? 4-0-0. And then December 21st, our meeting minutes from our last regular meeting. No? Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the December 21st public meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? No? Okay, all in favor? 4-0-0. Thank you, Karen.
Sure.
All righty. It sounds like you got all your tech questions dealt with.
It was a long, drawn-out thing.
Sorry to hear that. Okay. Let's see. What is next? We are going to be moving on, I believe, to the committee updates. Nothing for the Building Exploratory Committee. The Friends of the Library did not meet. The Development Fund did meet. Our chair, Bill Cummings, has stepped down, and so Holly Morales called the meeting, and Nelson Disco was acting chair. He ran the meeting for us, and it was a great meeting. They
Yeah.
were wonderful. I felt like they were very receptive and enthusiastic about our thoughts of the MYA site. We had a great discussion. They gave me some suggestions. So that was great. It was a wonderful opportunity to see them and talk with them, and I really appreciated that. So did you have anything to add to that, Yvette?
No,
No? So,
no, it was a nice meeting.
yeah. And they were really receptive and actually gave me some suggestions like, what about this group? Have you talked to them? And this was something we found, and like it was really great. There's just a lot of wisdom in that group, and so they're a wonderful resource for us. So that was great. Yeah. Town Center Committee.
Actually, we just had a meeting on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and Nelson is the chair of the Town Center Committee, and he was very pleased about the meeting with the library, and we discussed it. He was excited that things are
Mm-hmm.
happening, so.
So I think that, thank you for sharing that. And I think that the next step is once, I think we go before town council with the budget and sort of the budget stuff settles down in the next week or two.
Yep.
I would like to set up a meeting with Paul McCallie and just talk to him about sort of what we've come up with. So I think that would be on my action items for the coming month. But this is a busy couple of weeks for everybody at the town. So I think we'll wait till that settles down and then
Yep.
see if he's available to meet. So.
But the rest of the Town Center Committee meeting was essentially about an update on the 4 or so different projects around town that are moving or not moving because mainly funding, mainly funding is an issue. And so some of the walking paths and the pedestrian ways and sidewalks. But of course, Woodbury Street was also a big discussion. I know many people had seen the sidewalks being used instantly the first day that they were opened. It's a really good thing. And I think that for safety purposes, even alone, having students leaving the high school, walking down the middle of the road
Mhm.
or walking on the sidewalk, it's really obvious. So that was very positive. And also, the Town Center Committee has it has put together a kind of an attachment to the town website. And so you can actually look up and see what the Town Center Committee does, and, what might interest you or inform you as a resident, so. But it was a good meeting. Yes.
Great.
Is it just for the town center?
Yes, it's for the area just before, it's the area going up and down Daniel Webster Highway, going just before the, ending north at the shopping center, that
Shaw's?
Tractor Supply,
Oh,
Is it ends right before or right after?
before.
Okay.
And then the southern part of the, what's considered the town center is right by the, I forget the name of it, the memorial, right by
Oh, Fraser Square.
Fraser Square?
Fraser Square. That's considered the southern portion. And we move it out a little bit, like, we're trying to get sidewalks along Daniel Webster Highway that might go to that new 360 shopping center from Fraser Square. And that is a little outside what's considered the town center, but there's a lot more foot traffic now there and so on, so. It's worth looking into.
Hmm.
So, yeah, and if you do go, on the town website, you can, it specifies all the projects that we're looking into and so on. And of course, the library being practically the center of the town center, having a representative is important, so.
Thank you. Great. Okay, committee updates. So, Personnel Committee, we can talk about some of this as we move forward, but Mike and Sohini as Personnel Committee, we do
Oh.
have Yvette's review. What month is your review?
March.
March. Yvette's review takes place in March. Last year, Karen and Janice worked on the review form, and we have a copy of that form, but it might be worth taking a look at it again, so we can fill you in on that and keep you apprised of how to move forward. So I think we will talk about that as we move forward. But I just wanted to let you know that's coming up. And the Finance Committee, we will set a date and meet early next week. So. Okay, review January action items. So, let's see, the Finance Committee is going to meet. We are going to go over the funding for the chiller, see what other money might be available for some of the other requests that the library staff has brought forth to us, and also work on the Barry Quimby acknowledgement. Let's see, what else was on there? I'd like to set up a meeting with Paul McCallie. I'll put that on the action items just so it doesn't get lost. And then we also need to come up with a date to meet with Ann Warner. So I think I'll just go back to her and ask her what dates she has available in February perhaps, and we'll see if we can find something that will work for us.
What's that fundraising consultant paperwork?
Mm-hmm.
What's the next step with that?
I think that in my mind, the next step is to meet with Paul McCallie and
Okay.
see what he thinks of as the plan. And then I think there is, the Development Fund has funding available to hire somebody like a fundraising consultant. So I think we would once we get yeah, that seems like something worth pursuing, then that would probably be the next step. But I think, one of our things we want to do is be in sync with the town plan and the town
Absolutely.
vision and see what's going on there, so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if people have a different idea about how to proceed, I'm open to it. I'm just thinking that's what we would do, so. Okay. There was some talk about changing the meeting date. Did you ever find out if anything was available?
So, because of the budget, what's the word? They're more focused on that right now, so they kicked me to
Okay,
later next month.
okay.
So, I'll let you know next meeting.
Okay, we'll see if there's something available. I mean, there were some concerns about us switching the meeting date also, so that was something that got raised, that, people do like this date, it works out well for your schedule. There were some concerns with that, so I wasn't sure where you were with your thoughts and plans for the planning board, what was going on.
Still waiting.
Okay, so what are people's thoughts and feelings and concerns about? Okay,
It's set up that way, so I don't need any changes or anything, so.
mm-hmm. I think that Mike wanted to change the date, was asking if we could change the date of our meeting so that he could be on another committee.
Yeah.
Yep, so,
I can do that, I don't know what,
mm-hmm. How does that work out for you as far as reporting and getting stuff done and that sort of thing? If we were to meet a different week, and what week would it have to be?
Well, I moved my book group, which is the second Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually gonna meet in the afternoon in February, because that works
Okay,
for the people attending. If we move it to the fourth week, then I will never take a vacation, because.
yeah, I think that's one of
have
the
a meeting-
concerns.
I
Yeah,
have
I
a
think that-
solid week.
I think that the fourth
That's a
week
little
is
hard.
not gonna work either, because most of us, like, if you have a school vacation week, they're usually in the fourth, like, the fourth week of February, the fourth week of April, like, a lot of vacations take place around the fourth week, so that becomes where we have to start moving things around. So it might be a little challenging, so I'm not gonna lie. But you evaluate and see, I mean, is this something that you are really committed to doing? I mean, I guess, it's kind of a hard sell, because this has been the trustees' meeting night for, I don't know how many years, like, and for
as long as I've been on it.
forever,
Long
forever.
time.
So it's kind of the way that things work, right? That the libraries know, like, the third week, and we kind of move forward
Public
from,
knows it's the third week,
yeah,
not
so.
that they come, but they could watch.
So,
that's true.
yeah, so I think it just needs some thought about whether it's going to be, whether it's going to work. So, but the planning committee, you're just in limbo with them? Is that the idea?
Well, they're too busy to meet with me,
Mm-hmm.
the appointment committee, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
there's a number of things I'm working on, but they're too busy.
Okay. Yeah, I think that, this is our schedule. I think that, I don't know if you saw that email, but I think we established the schedule. Perhaps the new board will feel differently. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that there's a big will to change, that we can have a vote on it and see if, once you know what your plan is, but, yeah. So, all right, just didn't want it to fall to the wayside. So, with that, upcoming events. We are going before the town council tomorrow night at 6:30. The Friends of the Library will be meeting on the 24th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. The Development Fund Committee meeting to be established at some point, to be announced, and the Board of Trustees. So we were sort of in limbo because we didn't know what was happening, so that's why you did not put a date down for that. But it sounds like you are also in limbo, so it sounds like we can go with February, the third Tuesday, right? Is that what people have in there? Okay. Okay, comments from the press, public, and board before we go into non-public?
Can I,
Yes.
I had included in your packets,
Mhm.
the quarterly statistics for October, November, December,
Yep.
which we call quarter two, because our fiscal year starts in July.
Did you have something that you wanted to point out about those or highlight for us?
No, just wanted to note that you're receiving them.
Okay. Thank you, Yvette.
Sure.
I have a copy here if anybody wants to take a look at them. I think this was something that the trustees had wanted you to do and share with them, like in years past too. I know that was,
Quarterly.
yeah, so we have them.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I do have a question.
Yep.
Since you brought it up.
Yep.
There's a total customer card.
Yes.
Is the customer counter the door counter?
That's the door count.
Okay. Is there any way to count the number of cards that have actually been accessed?
I'm sure there is, because these are, the 13,128 is our active cards.
Right.
So,
I'm just curious on, like, the number of people that actually use their card.
I'm sure we could.
Okay.
I'll find out.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, different side note, I got interviewed today by no, this was a good thing.
Okay.
A library, a Boy Scout, who was just, he needed to do a community, he needed to just interview somebody in the community who was an elected official. And he wanted to know about the library, so he asked, how did, like, COVID affect the library? But his last question was, what can teens do
Ah.
to help the library? And I went, go. Go to the library. And it's a boy. So I was like, specifically, boys. I'm like, figure out what your friends, what you would do, or what can the library do for you to go to the library? And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, yeah. So, and I mean, it's a conversation that we've had before.
Yep.
As well as your survey that you did back in 2013 or whatever it was. It was that there's an age group that
Mhm.
don't go to the library, specifically boys. And so, yeah, so wanted
Great.
to share, because he
Neat.
did that today.
That's cool.
He's doing it for some award,
Mhm.
so.
Wonderful.
Like 2 questions, so.
Nice.
Great. Okay. Sorry about that, that
No.
we didn't highlight that. Okay, so we do have on our agenda to go into a non-public session per NHRSA 91A32A personnel. So I'm going to make a motion that we go into non-public session. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and we need to do a roll call vote to go into non-public. So Karen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
and I say yes. Okay, we are going into non-public at 8:10. Please turn off your mic.